Hey guys, welcome to episode 5. Today we're going to be doing the blueprint research, we're going to be linking the platform and the factories, so lots on the cards. We're going to be getting the additional space in our hands to free up some space in the backpacks, which is going to be great. And then we're going to be working on the coal factory, expanding that, and then we're going to be finishing the phase 2 objectives, and then we're also going to be completing the T4. So let's carry on going. Now that we've completed the research for the blueprints, let's mark that off the old to-do list. And the next thing is going to be selecting the T4 expanded power, and we can do that milestone. But before we can hand it in, we need to get the encased industrial beams going. So that's going to be the next thing on the to-do. The only issue is that currently we're already at our power max. So if I show you the power pole here, you'll see we're already at the maximum supply. So if we were to go and build any of the machines that we're going to be doing for this episode, especially the smart plating, versatile frame and the auto wire, we're not going to have enough power for it. So the next thing to do is to actually head through down to the sulfur side where we had the original miner there, that MK1 that's just producing at 120. Going to go down to the beach where we got the coal coming out at 120, where we're making the compact coal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go both those miners, I'm going to upgrade them from the MK1 to the MK2. Going to stick in a couple of power shards so that we can beef up that production to 240 each. I'll then build the assemblers on the beach and expand the coal factory, because I don't want to obviously spend too much time going through the coal factory because we've already done that. So I'll do that myself, and then I'll just show you what I did and how I did it, and then we can get started. So let me go and do that, and I'll see you on the beach. I must say guys, I'm pretty happy with how the expanded coal factory turned out. So we've got two coal factories now. We've got obviously the original one, and then I just duplicated the exact design across to the other side. And we've got the sulfur coming in at 240 and the coal coming in at 240, and I just beefed up the production in terms of the compact coal, so we've also got that coming out at 240, and then that just feeds through to the belts that I've now upgraded into the factory. So this is the same belt that came through that splits between these two, and what I've done is it runs feeding the back of this, runs feeding the back of that, like what we set up. And then on the other side, I've just merged that into another line here. So we've got the remaining 120 after the 60 in this line, 60 in that line have been consumed. So it leaves us with 120 left. So this belt then feeds in, splits between this line that feeds down here for those coal generators, and feeds down here for these coal generators. I originally had the plan of actually expanding it across the water on this side, but I came into an interesting situation where I actually couldn't place one of these down in the water. You'll see there it says invalid aim location. So I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So I jumped into the water and fell to my death. So it seems I've literally built right on the edge of the world map. So if I show you under the water here where I can go safely so I don't actually die, if I just pop in the water here, you'll see there's the end of the map there. So unfortunately, we couldn't expand it that way, but I made a nice plan in terms of bringing it out horizontally so we can run it against the coast, which is pretty awesome. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at your build. Also, when you're planning, I learned to go under the water if you're building over water, and just check to see the edge of the map before you continue. Just something to think about. So this is all up and running. So let's do the last thing now, is just to actually connect these two up. So this is 1260 and this has been running with 1260. So when we combine them, we're going to get 2520, and that's going to be awesome for the network in terms of all the buildings that we're going to be throwing on now. Awesome. Cool. With that all done, let's mark that off the old to-do list again. So let's go to the expand the factory. That one's done. Cool. What I'd like to do now is, in order to bring the materials across from the steel factory to be able to make the industrial beams, we're obviously going to need the steel beams, and we're going to need to bring the pipes across. And we can also look at beefing up the production at the steel at a later stage as well. But for now, let's get the industrial beams made. So let's go and get the beams for the steel. Let's go and get the pipes. Let's bring that across on the platform. And the whole intent for building the platform is eventually that's going to serve as the basis for the train network that we're going to be building. So it might be a little bit weird building a whole platform all the way from here to that side and then just running a logistics bolt on it, but that bolt will then be ripped up as soon as we've got the trains, and then we can start making use of that to come through and drop it off at our factory. So just like we saw in the plan for the buildings, the mega factory, this floor over here is used for the smelters and the forges. This one that we're running through now is used for the constructors, and you'll see what that means is that this logistics stack over here actually gets most of the items that are being produced from the constructors here and the constructors there, that then merge onto this one, and this is our whole set that we're using for most of the items in the game. So the logical thing then is, let's go look at this side over here, and what we can do is we can come through to the end of this logistics here where things are feeding on, throw in another 2 on top here, just like this. Let's make it face that way, 1 and 2, and then that's going to be used for the steel beams, and that's going to be used for the steel pipes. So what we can do is we can run this all the way through to the factory there, and while we're doing that, we're obviously going to go past our quick wire. So let's throw in another one over here for the quick wire. So we're going to bring those 3 factories, or those 2 factories materials over here, we'll link it up to the belt. That's then going to go through on top of this stack over here. That's then going to feed to the storage, and then we'll be able to use any of those items that we're getting for future processing. So if we have a look here, this is exactly what we're going to need. So let me go through, build up the platforms for these, and we can start bringing this across into the network, and then we can look at starting to make the industrial beams. Cool. Let me start doing that, and I'll see you guys just now. Well, now that our platform's all linked up, what we can do is we can now come down to where our steel's being produced. Let's turn around these merges instead of facing backwards to go through to the storage. Same thing on this side, the pipes going backward. Let's change them around to bring them this side, and then we can link them up to our platform upstairs. So you'll see here, the only problem that we're going to have is if I specifically put down a wall here to actually bring up the items over here, we're actually going to get a belt limits in terms of how long we can actually put the belt. So what I'd like to do is go upstairs, put on a floor hole up there, and then we can actually use the floor hole trick just to extend this all the way down to the bottom. So let's go and do that. Put the wall up at the top here. So let's link it from this side. What we'll then is we'll face it through into here. And now what will happen is normally we'd run that all the way down there, but that's not going to make the distance. So let's do this, and we'll just match the floor holes into this block here like this. That's looking good. And we'll just direct this here onto this belt. And then what we can do is we can go now down to the bottom. We can then make the floor 4 high or 3 currently on top of the existing foundation that we have. And then we can actually link them without having any belts difference. You'll see now. So let's go 3 here. Jump on top. Put down our additional 2 floor holes. We can delete these blocks then. And what we can is we can feed directly from this into that one, just like that. And the same thing over here. And then we can get around that maximum belt, which is awesome. Cool, so this one's then going to turn these 3 around. Let's direct the stuff into this one. And then we'll loop around from that side and go and get the pipes. So let's just change the direction of these splitters. Sorry, not splitters, the mergers. Just do a little cleanup while we're here. Cool, and let's go put these mergers going to the direction how we want them at. Just gotta reconnect these bolts. And then we'll take this into our first one here. Just like that, and that's going to feed those ones up to the top, which is perfect. And then it's going to do the same thing in terms of the pipes on this side. So let's switch all these around. We no longer need the awesome sink here because we'll put that back at our main base, which will be cool. Okay, then let's link up the merges. Just like that. Nice. Now we got our pipes coming up as well, so that obviously we'll hit a block at the moment because we don't have any network running back to our factory. Let's delete these. What we can do is just maybe make some space here, otherwise when I delete it, we're going to be dropping items on the map. Just like that. I think that's enough space. Let's just make some more just in case. Cool, let's go and do the same thing on this side. Nice, that's all tidied up. Cool, only thing left to do now is to run this back all the way through to base. So let's go and do that. Cool, now that our platforms are linked and we've prepared the three essentially up here, these top three, for the additional resources, let's start linking it all up. So let's put a one over on this side over here, we'll link it to there, come back here, put it onto this one. We want to go to the bottom one first. Let's do the same thing. What we'll do is just do it upper floor. Something like this. And then to the next one up. And again, one more time. And then that should be all of the ones that we need. Oh, that looks good for now. Okay, so let's clear this up. And now what we want to do is we just want to bring all of these up onto these belts. So let's bring them across here. So let's go for maybe the... which one do we want first, guys? I think, yeah, let's go just as they are. So bring this one over here. Like that. To this one. Then we'll do this one straight along here to the middle. Like that. Yeah, I think that looks cool. Awesome. So now that's all linked and should be going up there. So we've got all of those waiting for the rest of the belts to go. That looks nice and neat. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay this 3 up on each of these sides, and then we can get back, then we can work on the storage and putting it into the awesome sinks. That's all done and linked up. So let's go and have a look now about the storage side. And then we can start feeding them along that side. We might have to extend our platform a bit more to add for the new 3. So let's just go and have a look here. Now we'll have enough space, it seems, in terms of the storages, but definitely for the awesome sinks. So let's throw in 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Get our storage. Going through the logistics here. Cool, so that's going to be for the 3 new items. Then we're going to need space for 3 new awesome sinks here. So let's maybe just delete this and extend this platform out this way. So we can do something like this. I think we can need to go out about maybe 5 or 6. So let's maybe do something like that. Cool. And then just extend this platform here, or the rail. Both sides. And we need 3 more awesome sinks. So 1, 2, 3. Then we need to extend our platform. So let's go out this way. Again, 6 gaps in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can have this one on the 7th. And then stack this high. Oh, and then we needed 3, so we need 1 more. Nice. Okay, so we're going to need a couple more AI limiters in order to get those. So let's see if we can just go make a couple. And then I can't wait to throw that AI limiter onto the automation as well, because we're going to need that, I think, for the auto wire. No, we don't, but we'll do it nonetheless, guys. So that's going to be very cool. Okay, let's have a look at how many AI limiters we need. So let's make about 15 or so. And then we can get back to the building. Cool, those are done. Let's link these ones. So 3 high again. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, let's link these logistics. Oh, there's one more that I hadn't linked on this side, so we need 1 more on each of these. It's because I put an extra reserved line for the screws, because I wanted 2 belts for the screws. Okay, that should all be good. So let's use the splitter now that we put on top here to actually tell it where to go. So we want all the items coming from constructors essentially going to the right, because those are the more simple items. Okay, so let's start with the top one. We want this one to be right any, center overflow. Not that that matters, but it's a good habit I'm used to now. Because now everything's going to feed to the right there, which is great. Now we can just go link it up to the corresponding storage. So let's go line it up. Okay, so this one's going to come from here for the quick wire. And we need this one here for the pipes. So let's line it up on there. And then the last one is going to be for the beams. And we just need to go set these belts. So let's just go up to the top here and set the same thing in terms of the overflow, except that this is going to be left any, center overflow, so that we can actually control what gets put to the item sinks. Cool. All of that should be filling up our storage. That's perfect. Nice, guys. Okay, let's put it in the fronts here so that we can see which items it is. And ultimately, once we've got signs, we'll actually put that over here with our item rates and stuff as well, which will be really cool. So we've got our beams, we've got our pipes, and we've got our quick wire all coming in. The only thing left to do now is let's go put the sinks on so that when those are full, we'll actually get some more tickets. And then I'll have a quick look at seeing how many tickets we have, because we should have a lot of tickets now, because this has been building up for quite a while we've been cruising around the world doing things. So it's going to be this one over here. Okay, then the second from the top one. And then the last one's just the top. And then it's the same thing. Let's just jump up here and go and sort out our splitters to set right any. And then the last one. Cool. So any overflows will go through to these. They're not powered yet, so we're not too worried about that. But let's go and do that, and then those can process those little ones until our storages are full. Then it becomes really, really useful. Okay, so let's link them up. Nice. Cool. And let's check on our tickets. Nice, guys. We've got lots of tickets, so we can go do a lot of shopping. Cool, that's all looking good. We've got our storages filled. Nice. Okay, so now with that all being done, we've actually got the industrial beams, or we're ready for the industrial beams. So let's mark off that the platforms have been done between linking the factories. And let's go now have a good opportunity to extend the platform this side. And then what we can do is we can use the blueprints, and then we can get ready for the industrial beams. Okay, so I've fleshed out the platform. I've got this all open area for us to build on, which is awesome. I've laid down the blueprints and I've actually taken the time to make some of the blueprints for us. So let's just go through a couple. And what I would like to do is show you the forge, because it's one of the more complex ones. And what I like to do is I like to have all of the outputs from the forges come through the middle. And that essentially is feeding out, like you can see here, towards me. So all of these, the splitters, the mergers, everything faces towards the console, and the console is the points of reference because everything goes forward. So if I, for example, try and use this now, you'll see that it's got a big arrow that shows you the direction. I find that useful to point everything towards the console, because then you can actually see the direction or know the direction that the outputs and the inputs are going to come out and in on. So that's a cool way of using that for a reference. But if I show you the build, essentially what happens is all of these outputs then just merge into these that all connect through to the top and go right through to the front. And it's the same thing in terms of the splitters at the back here, because this will accept 2 outputs. Then what I've also done is I've underclocked this, because generally we have it coming in at 40, not 45. And this allows us to get 240 from this little cluster. And what you can do is you can just chain those together. So at the moment we've got a 270 belt max, but what we can do in the future is we can upgrade the belts, and then we can do 2 machines like this in a row. Something like that, and you can feed them, and then you can just keep processing, and you can do 480 the minute we get the next level of the logistics up. So it's a way to make it extendable, and that's what's really cool about the blueprints. So what I've also done is I've done the other one. So if we look at the one that we're predominantly going to be using now, it's going to be the assembler ones, because the 5 new items that we're going to be making, in order to get the items produced for the phase 2, we're going to need 5 items to be processed. So you'll see we're going to need stators, and the reason why we need stators is we need stators for the auto wire, and the auto wire obviously requires that. So that's going to be the 3 from the phase 2, the smart plating, the versatile, the automated, and the stator, and then obviously the industrial beams that we need to be able to do some of the other research. And all of those are made in this assembler. So these have everything that we need in order to be able to process and to unlock and complete phase 2 and unlock phase 4. So if I show you the blueprint for this, essentially it's just doesn't have a recipe selected. It's got all of the outputs for any overflow. So it's going to come in from this side, take anything on the left, feed it into the machine, and then the rest goes through and keeps on processing. So what it allows us to do is we can extend this in our factory, and I'll show you how I've used it now. So if we're going to have a look quickly, and I just clear this blueprint, and we go to our factory floor where I've actually exclusively used this now, you'll see what I'm talking about. So here's the part where we're making all the items for the assembler, and this is the part where we're actually making, I think it's the rotors on this side. So let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, so we're making the rotors here. So the 3 sets of items that we are making already are the rotors, are the reinforced plates, and obviously the modular frame. And those are the 3 that we are making. So if we have to make allowance now for the 5, I think it's the perfect time to go and have a look at the spreadsheet. So if we just dive into the spreadsheet and have a look now, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the spreadsheet. I've got it all ready for us, and you'll see here's the different machines. So here's the 2, 3, 4, 5 machines that we're going to be making, and I put a little legend here that shows these are the machines that we need to upgrade. So currently we don't have any of these machines, which is why they've got 0 for their inputs. But obviously we want to have 1 machine making industrial beams, 1 machine making smart plating, again 1 making versatile frames, 1 making assemblers, 1 making auto wire. And you'll immediately see the problem with the conditional formatting that I've got here is that if we do 1 on the versatile frame, we're actually going to be short on the modular frames and the steel beams. So the steel beams is what we're producing at the factory that needs to be up to level, because we're currently on the 240. So we either need to make another steel factory to bring in, or we for now just need to underclock our machine. So if we drop this down to 0.5, we get no problems with our current factory. If we, for example, beef this one up to 10, it again shows us that we don't have the stators and the cable that's required for it. So essentially this works with the current factory that we have. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building this now using the blueprints in the factory. So let's head back there. Let's go and find a nice spot on the factory floor, and let's get going. Yeah, this looks like a nice open spot. So let's use our blueprint now. So let's go and grab, oh wait, before we do that, let's actually just go mark off to make the blueprints. And it's something that we're going to continuously work on in future episodes as well. So let's go and select the blueprint now for the assembler. And obviously we want it going in the direction where the arrow is facing, just like I showed you over here. So we want it going towards that outside. So let's get it roughly into the position that we want it at. We can just hit H to sort of lock it into position. And then we can just use the arrow keys, and with control you can nudge it to exactly where you want. So that looks pretty much in line with what we have over that side. So let's maybe bring it 1 more across. Yeah, that looks like it matches there. This looks good on this side. Let's just bring it a little bit closer. Yeah, that matches perfect. So now we know these two are actually lining up exactly the same, which is very cool. Now what we want to do is we want to select that this is going to be making the encased industrial beams. So let's select that encased industrial beam there and there. And according to the spreadsheet, we want just 1 assembler making. So let's just underclock these to 50%. And it becomes really nice in terms of wanting to expand the factory later. So later, if we want to amp up production, we don't have to lay in more buildings. We can just increase this to maximum 100, and we've essentially doubled it up. But at the moment, it's going to be running like as if it's just 1 machine. So we got steel beams and concrete that we need to pull off our line. So if we look on this list here, we'll see that here's the concrete that's coming off and the steel beams right at the top. So if we just go to the concrete layer over here and we just pull that directly off, what we can do is we can just feed down like this, and then that can go directly into our splitter, which is going to be cool. And this has already got our predefined setting for our any and center, so that's going to feed into the machine nicely. The only other thing we want to do now is we want to link this up to our one at the top here. So what we're going to do is we want to go all the way up through to the top layer. So let's just jump up here and we'll get our alignment right. And then let's put this on the top. Needs to go over a little bit more. Something like that will be good. Cool. And then let's get this roughly to that same height. Like that. And we can just link these two together. And that looks great. So now all that we have to do is we just have to come to this one. Specify that it's left any center overflow. And what that's going to do is it's going to now fill these two machines first, and then it'll carry on sending to our storage. So that way our factory always gets precedence. So now we can just put this through to there, put that power in here, and now we're going to start loading the concrete. And the only other thing to do is to do the same thing that we did for the concrete to the beams. So let's just jump up to the top over here, go and specify the same thing in terms of the left any center overflow. So that way it's going to fill these machines. So left any center overflow. Now all of this is going to start heading down here, which is great. And then that's it. It's going to start making the encased industrial beams for us, which is perfect. And then that's going to allow us to do the unlocking of the next couple of phases. What we want to do now is we want to do the same thing that we've done with the other parts of the factory. Is we want to now link this into the sushi belt on the bottom line and get this coming through to storage. So let's link this all through. And then this is going to feed in our existing network that we've already laid to be able to bring the machines and bring the parts through. So let's just do this, link that there. And now here comes our first encased industrial beam. And this is going to go all the way around there, into the merger, back along there to the sushi belt, all the way through, and then we can now control it by our storage. So if we go to the end here, you'll see that we've got this line here that's currently, I think, doing the modular frames. What we can do is we can again come through, throw in a new wall, link this up here, go grab the smart splitter, link that through there, and then we just want to go right here and we'll do encased industrial beams. And then we can come to the front, link in our logistics. And just like that, we should get our encased industrial beam coming soon. Let's go find where one is. They're going to be coming fast and furious. There's one. Okay, and if we just follow this guy, or we just wait at the end, whichever one, you'll see that it's actually just going to come all the way through this sushi belt. It's going to then feed into that, and anything extra is just going to go to our awesome sink over there and be destroyed. So we might have some already. Let's see in the front. No, not just yet. Let's give it some time to come through. Come on. Inch by inch. And we're going to do the exact same thing for all the other items. So just like what we did here, lay down that, we'll fill up this platform with all the required items that we need. And eventually we'll start making even more complex parts using these to determine them. So this is going to hit an overflow. So this is just got to stack up, and then it'll obviously send through the part. This one again, it'll eventually send through the part. And then this will start stacking up. There it comes. Cool, and then that's now fed through to the front, and here's our first encased industrial beam. So we've now done the encased industrial beam, so what I can do is I can just mark this off, and over time it's just going to build up with exactly everything that we need. And eventually we'll be able to flesh out that machine and make it faster and bring in more materials from our factory as soon as we upgrade and get the additional logistics speed. So let's go now and start working on the next one, which is going to be the smart plating. So let's do the same thing in terms of the assemblers here. Yes, let's get our assembler recipe. And this time it's going to be facing the other direction. So now we want it going to the right. So let's just do this. Put it like that. Again, get it roughly where you want it. Just H to lock it into position. And then rinse and repeat. So now let's see, we want it to line with this one. That looks about right. Just want it a bit closer. Again, you can just hold Control to nudge it. And now that seems to be good. It's on the line there with just a little bit over. Yep, that looks perfect. So now we can just build that down. And now we're going to do the same thing we did before. So let's select a smart plating, go 50% on this. Same thing on this machine. And then we're just going to link up the corresponding storages. So let's get this to power. Looks good. Okay, now what are we pulling off? The reinforced and the rotors. So now here's where it gets really, really easy, guys. So essentially what we want is both the reinforced and the rotors coming off our sushi belt here. So this is an example of the one that's taking complex parts to make another complex part. So what we can do is we can actually just do something like this. We can just put it here on that side, and again move it a little bit further down or a little bit further back depending on which one you prefer doing. So I like doing it something like this. And I will make this one bring off the rotors on the right hand side, and we'll do overflow on the middle. And then on this one we'll do the reinforced, and then again overflow in the middle. And now we can just bring it into our network. So let's bring that one on to there, and we can just do something like this. Put up a logistics pole like that. This can then feed directly into there. Like that. And that's just going to feed through the rotors and then feed through the reinforced, and that's going to make our smart plating like it is now. And it's a cool way to link it. And then what we can do now is the same, just like before. Let's go and link these up, connect it to the sushi belt, and that's then going to have another item that we can just throw onto the storage units. So let's throw this all the way here. Well, then let's go do the same thing. So that's now going to produce the smart plating, which is great. This machine probably is not going to have just yet because it's still stockpiling. As soon as this machine has obviously got everything in the back here, it'll then overflow to this one. So what we can do is we can just give it a little bit of turbo loading. So now this one's going to start filling up now, which is going to be cool. And then, yeah, let's go and actually get the smart plating off the bottom belt. Okay, so again, let's just link up the storage, the wall. We'll set the settings for this with a smart plating on the left and any overflow. And that's that. This is now just going to send through the smart plating to this side. So let's go and do the next one, the versatile frame. Okay, so let's select our assemblers. Let's start lining it up. Yeah, that looks good. I think this again, just press H, lock it into position. It was actually on that one, so let's bring it back. Line it up here. Yeah, that looks perfect. Nice, it's facing the right way. That looks good. Okay, and then this one's going to be for the versatile frame. So let's select that. Same thing on this side. Let's underclock this one to 50%. Oh wait, the versatile frame we actually wanted at 25% because combined we wanted it at 50%. So that's a good example of using these two to underclock them to actually be a half now. So that's great. So that's going to be the equivalent of half a assembly. And like I said, it always allows us to expand it later, which is great. So now we need to get our modular frame and the steel beam, and the modular frame is off the bottom belt and the top one. So let's just link this up here, put that there, have modular frame on the left, and then overflow on the center one. And then the same thing like we've done before, just link it up to the top one. So let's get on top here, line it up nicely. Okay, it's going to go all the way to the top. Okay, and then just link these. Well, then let's just go and set the overflow setting just like what we did down here. Set this to the item and then to overflow. Let's jump up to the top. Set this to any left, center overflow. And again, once these have now set and got all the steel beams inside them, then this one will then start loading. So what we can do is just like what we did just now, we can just come and load this with a turbo because we got some in our inventory. So this one's now got 200. This one's got now 200. And now it'll start sending through to the next. And the spreadsheet just makes sure that we're producing enough items so that this actually gets to run. Because we've assured that all the items that we're producing are actually enough to make this machine run at 100% efficiency. So now we know that these are going to go ahead. So let's just carry on and we'll come see those machines shortly. Let's just link this up to our corresponding merges. Yeah, that looks good. Link that. Bring this one back. Nice. Cool, then that's our versatile frames done. So let's see on this side. This one should be getting some items ready. Yeah, the modular frames are coming. Steel beams are still going to be coming through. Let's see. I think it's still filling because it actually has to go through and fill up this logistics here because this isn't finished. Yeah, this will stockpile all the way here. And then obviously it'll backlog and then start coming down this side. So what we can do is, again, we can just come and give it a little turbo boost here and start getting to make some items. So let's do that. But eventually it'll plug up with the current items that we're busy producing. And then again, let's go to the storage and throw it on for the versatile frames. And you can see how easy it is as soon as you get into this motion. Wait, that shouldn't have happened. That did an overflow on the... Oh, you see. Okay, so I just saw a beam go past over there, and that's not supposed to happen. That's because I didn't set this correctly. This is supposed to be overflow going forward, not any going forward. So just bear that in mind when you're actually working on it yourself. So this has now gone through to there, and it's been sunk, but we've gained tickets from it at least. Okay, so let's put this one down. Let's start getting our versatile frame all connected. Okay, we're running out of some reinforced because we've obviously been filling some of the machines, so let's go grab some more. And this is for the versatile frames. And this time, let's go overflow center. And while I'm here, I'll just check all of these are actually overflow, just to make sure. Yeah, that's all looking good. Yeah, so there's just that last one. Cool. So now this is going to feed through to the versatile frames. And then the last item that we need to do is just the auto wire. So let's do it on the other side now, just like what we've done with this one. We're doing one side. So let's again go through to our blueprints. Okay, let's select our assemblers. Let's line it up. Again, H just to lock it roughly into position. It's at the end of that one, so let's bring it forward. Then I think it was just one more over on the edge. Yep, that looks nice. Lines up great. Okay, let's put that down, and then let's go and select our recipe for this. So this is going to be the auto wire. Oh yes, but before the auto wire, we need to make the stator actually. So let's select the stator recipe, and again we want this underclock because we need to produce one of these, or actually 5, but you know what I mean. One assembler's worth of items that happens to produce 5. Cool, so now at 50%, both in combined will get us to the 5 that we need. Now we need wire and steel pipe. So let's have a look where our wire is. So wire's on this one here, which is great. Nice that it lines up with this. This stack is a little bit off. That's going to irritate me now. Dang it. Did I just not make it on the right side? Oh, what a pain. Okay, I'm going to have to fix this, guys. Let me do that, and then it'll be a center line as soon as I'm back. Okay, now that's actually in the right spot, right in the middle. I feel whole again, guys. Okay, so let's get what we're going to need off of this belt. So now we need the wires. Let's grab the wire off of this one. We can link directly into our bottom. And it's the same thing now. For the top, we just need the pipe. So let's have a look at this. Why is this not going forward now? What happened here? Are these machines... Oh, they don't have power because obviously when I deleted the stack, I must have deleted one of the power cables. That's what's happened. Work machines. Okay. Cool. So now that the wires are sorted, let's go and get the pipes now. So let's just jump up here, go and line it up. have a look where our pipe is. I think it's going to be this second one from the top here, which is great. And we can either link it like this. No, that's going to cause havoc with the other section. So let's do it like that. Okay, and then we're going to come through here and select the smart splitter. So we want right any now, center overflow. Again, because we want the machines to be clogged first. And then everything else go to the storage. Because then the storage, you can just come shop exactly what we want without affecting the production. Cool. The same thing for this one. Let's do right any, center overflow. Now that's going to bring through from here as soon as it comes. Nice. That's going to then feed through to the machines. The only thing left to do now is to link up the power. So let's connect that up. Nice, and then this is going to start building our status. So again, let's link this to the front to the sushi belt. Oh, we're a bit short on beams now, so let's go and get some more. It's nice, it's quick, because we're right by base, guys. I love it. Yeah, we can actually do a little shopping here. Let's get some of everything. Not screws. Nobody likes screws. That should sort us out for a while. And there's our stator. Awesome. I love it when the plan comes together, guys. Okay, that's connected. There goes our stator. Okay, so let's go and do the same thing in terms of the storage so that it doesn't sink, because we want it to go to our storage. And there comes the smart plating. Look at that. And then that can be for our status. That can be for overflow. Nice. Now that's just going to fill up with status. Cool. Now that we've got the status all sorted, we can work on the next one, which is actually the auto wire that uses the status. So let's do that over here. Hey, you're getting the drill here, guys. I don't think I have to explain it now. So let me link this up, and then I'll see you when the auto wire is done. Okay, so I've now finished linking up our auto wire, which was the last item that we needed. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 items are now being made by our factory, which is fantastic progress, which is really cool. So let's go and mark those off on our to-do list here for the auto wire, everything. That's looking good. The next thing we want to do is let's actually go and do the expanded toolbelt research. And for that, we're going to need some of the industrial beams. So let's grab those ones that have been made. And let's go and see the research that we can actually do now. So we can go and hand in our T4 for the expand power. Let's hand that in. Oh, we're a little bit short on modular frames. Let's go grab those. Okay, let's stick those in. Cool. And then while we wait for that to come down, let's listen to Ada and we can look at what we need for the toolbelt.
Pioneers started exhibiting traumatic responses to power blackouts. Fix-It developed mitigation tools recommended by your local therapist. Power storages can hold excess power to delay or prevent blackouts in the eventuality that your factory's power consumption exceeds production. To simplify, these are rechargeable batteries. Power towers carry power lines for significantly greater distances than poles, facilitating factory expansion and exploitation of this environment for the good of Fix-It and humanity.
Good old Fix-It, guys. Okay, so what I was looking at now while we were waiting for Ada to finish chatting is the different expanded tool belts. So currently we're carrying our object scanner and our detonator. So what we can do is we can do the different handins to actually give us more space in our hands so that we're actually not taking up inventory slots. So that's what I want to do for this portion over here of the objectives. So let's go through and start handing those in. So if we go through to the alien megafauna first, it's going to be this one. Let's start that research. At least this is quick in the man. Okay, so that's one hand slot. So let's do the other two.
Toolbelt expanded. No alien organisms were harmed during the creation of this toolbelt.
Those chips.
Toolbelt expanded. The latest data indicates that the mycelia possess sentience. Don't worry, we have been given permission to harvest and repurpose their remains.
Now we got nice inventory space and hand space, guys. Looking good.
Toolbelt expanded. I compounded sulfur's tristatic atom matrix into a quadrimensional gate vortex. You can now carry more stuff.
Quadrimensional gate vortex. Bottom line, we can just carry more stuff. Okay. Cool, so that's done now. In terms of those. Expanded power, we've actually done the Handin for that, so we can mark that off the to-do list as well. Next to the research, we're just going to wait for that to come down. We can actually do the ones for the Hypertubes, and that's going to need 50 more of the encased. So what we can do is we'll hand these in. It's just going to take a little bit more time to build up here. Let's have a look. We're on 37. Well, I suppose we can just make the rest by hand, or what we can do is I'll just wait the 2 minutes, go grab from there, and then we can do another hand in. Okay, so the pod's returned. Oh, I've got 47. Let's just go grab again. There we go. Now we got the 50. Cool, and then let's hand with the Hypertubes. Love the Hypertubes, guys. Cool.
Milestone
That's
reached.
another thing done.
By adding Hypertube entrances at both ends of Hypertubes, pioneers can achieve two-way travel between locations. They are also error% safer than jump pads. You dreamed of moving across factories like valued resources, such as rocks and water, and Fix-It listened to your dreams. We watched them. We took extensive notes. Hypertubes. Because Fix-It makes pioneers' closely monitored dreams come true.
Closely monitored dreams. That's terrible. Imagine having an AI monitor your dreams, guys. Okay, so let's have a look now. So now that we've got the Hypertubes, we can actually build and link them between the factories, which is the last part of the build I'd like to do. So I'd like to be able to essentially, from our hub, be able to go to the steel factory, be able to go to the coal factory, and obviously come back here. So it'd be nice to do two different wings, essentially, so we can just travel to and back between those locations. So I think that's the next thing that I'd definitely like to do while we wait for the items to build up in terms of us handing in the complete the phase 2. So what I can do is I'm going to go over here, I'm going to extend this platform all the way through to that side, and I'd like to actually do it on the left hand side so that it's going to go through to the coal plant, just in case we want to go beef up production again there. Okay, so I've waited for daytime now, and what we can actually do is we can start running the Hypertubes down from this side, and I'll show you where we're going to link it on our hub, and then we can always use that to actually choose where we want to go, but I'll show you more about that now. So let's jump in and start actually creating the highway essentially to the coal factory from here. So we're just going to link our Hypertubes. So let's just plan this all the way through to the coal factory, and then I'll show you how to hook up the power. Cool. Let me get that done, and I'll see you guys on the beach there. Okay, now that we got that all linked up, let's actually throw on the entrance, and we can just link that to the power source over here. And now we can just come back to and from our coal factory whenever we want, which is going to be awesome. So no more running to and back from here. Really helpful when we sort of lacking on materials. And I also came up with another idea. I'll show you about that when we get back to base. Thought of something which would be pretty cool to throw onto our factory. So let's head back to base, finish up the connecting room to the Hypertubes. And what I've done also is I've gone through on that side and I've actually laid the Hypertubes all the way through to the steel factory, so we can ride that, and then I can show you what that looks like as well. Factory's coming together, guys. It's looking awesome. I think as soon as we throw in some walls and maybe some roofing, some windows, it's going to look really neat. Looking forward to sprucing it up just now. Okay, so let's finish this all the way through to the hub, and then we'll create our little portal room, or our little accessible room. So let's just guide this all the way through here. Yeah, that looks nice. As you can see, there's the Hypertube in the distance over there, for the one that goes through to the steel factory. So I was thinking something like this. What we can do is let's set this up here. Do the same thing that we did for this one. Maybe loop this back just a little bit. Yeah, like that. That looks nice and neat. And then we'll do the same thing on this side here. Cool, and then we'll link this to our other one. Okay, that's all done. Now all the only thing we have to do is just have to go and put some entrances on these. So let's put in some Hypertube entrances. Like that. Let's put a power source there. Link those two over here. I quite like coming from behind here. So let's do this. What we'll do is we'll feed this around to the factory on this side. Make use of this platform that we built, guys, which is awesome. And then this can come through just to this one here. We'll feed this along here to the factory. Where to link up? Yeah, let's link it up on this one here. That looks good. Cool. And now our Hypertubes have some power. So let's go and ride this one to the steel factory, and you can see what that looks like. It's quite a long one, but it's really cool to ride. Cool, let's dive in. I'll tell you what, guys, this definitely beats the heck into walking here. So that's going to be awesome. So what we can do now is we've already got the iron that's coming through there. We've got the coal node tapped. There's a whole lot more iron over there. So what we're going to do later on is we're going to actually bring down that additional resources here. And we can really spruce up this factory and push out some more pipes and beams from here, which is going to be awesome. So I think that'll be pretty cool to do in the next episode. But I'm happy with how the Hypertubes are looking. So let's mark that off. And then it's time to do the Handin, guys. Let's go. So I'm going to head back to base. I'll see you at the hub, and we can actually Handin complete the phase 2. Let's do it. We're almost back at base, guys, which is going to be cool. So we've done all the things that we wanted to do for the factory. We've done the objectives, the linking, the main build. Only thing left to do now is to actually just go and grab the parts and do the Handin. So let's do it. So we got 1,000 of these we're going to need. So we're going to need quite a lot of space. So let's actually go and put down the storages, and then we'll just link these directly into the space elevator. I love this new straight edge building. So cool. Okay, so we're going to need 10 stacks of the smart plating. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to need 3 more stacks. That's the 3 we need. Cool, so then that can just feed in there. So let's actually make 10 stacks available here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just delete 2 stacks of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. Now we can just go and grab everything that we need into our inventory. And then that's a perfect 1,000 Handin. Oh, actually, no, that's perfect 500. So we'll have to double that. So that's the first 500. That's the next 500, and we only need 100 of the automated device. That was an easy one, so let's just grab 100 of those. And then we're just going to need to go and grab some more smart plating. Oh, that's too many. Cool, let's go grab some smart plating. Again, we need another 10 stacks. Just enough. Nice. Cool. I'm just going to let that feed through, Handin, and then we can send it off. Finally, guys, it's done. Complete the phase 2. Let's do the Handin. Locked and loaded. I must say, I'm loving these new animations and stuff. Cool, let's send off.
Project Assembly Pioneer Progress Presentation. Congratulations, the Phase 2 project part shipment is now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 2 will be completed and the construction dock will be constructed. After completion of Phase 2, the technologies of Tiers 5 and 6 will become available in the hub. These might feel intimidating after your previous experience, but rest assured that you would not be here if you were entirely incompetent. Highlights are oil production, railway transportation, the jetpack, and many more. Completing Phase 3 of Project Assembly is your next main objective. Just remember to focus on producing and delivering the project parts, and Fixit's faith in you will be strengthened.
Nothing like fixing our faith in Fixit, you know? Or Fixit gaining faith in us. Cool, let's send it off, guys. I can't wait to start working on the trains, guys. That's so cool. Sweet. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you guys was actually the idea that I came up with for our storage.
Phase
but I got
2
distracted by completing the Phase 2
completed.
here.
You have been performing more adequately under pressure and are closer than ever to saving the day. Perhaps you were the right choice for the job. Time will tell. You will now enter Phase 3 of Project Assembly. Continue as you are, and there should be no issue. For humanity. For Fixit.
Yo, that is looking really cool. Okay, the idea was we keep having to run back for certain materials. So why don't we actually just use our dimension, or our depot uploader, our dimensional depot, and let's actually see if we got any other materials. Yeah, we do have some more of this. We can actually make 4 of them, I think. Let's check. Yeah, so we've got enough materials for 4 of these. And what we can do is we can just link them directly on top of what we need. So we're constantly needing cement. That's one that I'd definitely like to do. So what we can do is do it like that and just link it. How cool is that? And then all that it's going to do, oh, not like that. Like that. And now what it's going to do is it's just going to feed in there. So we're going to get all the materials that we want now for the concrete. That's just going to load in, which I think is really cool. And we can do this across the board for all the stuff that we want to do. So let's do the next one. Let's maybe do... We're constantly getting short of pipes and or beams. So I definitely like to do those two. Which is nice. And then those are going to start coming in. Oof, look at that, guys. What a cool idea. Okay, and then the next one. I'd like to do maybe the plates. But we're actually using concrete by itself in terms of laying the foundation, so I'm not too phased about that. Maybe what we can do is we can actually do the encased industrial beam, because we're going to be doing the shift from the current steel beams. After doing the next tier 5, we'll look at doing this objective, and then we can actually start using the MK4 belts. So let's maybe link that one up for now, and then I'll look around the map, see if we can get some more mercenaries, and then we can just link up and flesh up our inventory a bit more. But that's looking good. We've got those coming through, and then we can start working on the next episode. We'll start doing the upgrades to the depot to start speeding up how quickly it actually uploads to the inventories. So I'll run around, get some hard drives, get some more mercer spears, and then we can get a nice head start in the next episode where we flesh that out and obviously start working on completing the Phase 3 objectives. Cool, guys. Thanks for joining. It's been a nice episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.